Two girls, a whole lot of books, and even more to say about them. I'm Tor.
And I'm Brontey.
And this is Girls Unplugged.
We're here for all things bookish, from recommendations and book-to-screen adaptations
to spilling the tea on all the latest community drama and news.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow along. Hey guys, welcome back to the pod. Just before we get into today's episode, just want to do a quick reminder to make sure you are following, subscribed, and if you're listening on a platform that has a rating system, please leave us a review. Again, as always, preferably a 5-star, but whatever you feel is in your heart. Thank you so much. But as you can tell, today we are here with a guest, Alexis L Menard. Alexis is also known as the author of books like House of Bane and Blood, which you might have heard of because they are huge in the booktok space. But before I let Alexis introduce herself, I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my journey with Alexis's books, because as we were just saying to each other, it's been a long time coming. So back in 2022, when I first started my booktok journey, Alexis was actually the first ever indie author who let me have an ARC of their book. So as you can imagine, I am very excited today, and I have been reading and loving every single book that she has published since then. Plus, in 2023, Tor and I's book club actually picked House of Bane and Blood as one of the book club monthly reads. So, like I say, very, very excited to have Alexis with us today. So, Alexis, can you introduce yourself to the listeners at home who may not have read your books before and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So I'm Alexis L Menard. I am a fantasy romance author from South Louisiana. I've been writing for probably 5-ish years. Well, I've been writing forever, but officially actually trying to write for the last 5 years. And yeah, there's not much about me because I am very, very busy at this point in my life. I'm a mom of 2 young kids. I don't get out very much anymore, but yeah, there's not much else to say.
And are you actually, so I've read this on your bio, and I'm just going to interject here with a question, Tor, because I feel like it ties in. Are you still a nurse? Because you've talked before about being a registered nurse and an author, but those things are quite different on paper. So
Yes.
are you still nursing?
I tried my best. I did a lot of PRN work just as needed. But the medical field is just always changing. It's just rapidly updating and changing that it was just so difficult and honestly not safe for me just to keep just dropping in and then trying to catch up with whatever latest technology had happened or they were charting differently or whatever. So I decided just to take a step back and just focus on writing, which ended up being a very good choice for me mentally, and both for my career, because now I can just focus on the writing stuff and I don't have to really worry about the nursing stuff. I'm always keeping the door open because I do love it. I do miss it. But right now, being a mom of 2 little kids that just need me every second of the day, and then trying to publish books, multiple books a year, it's just not possible to also work as a nurse because it's just the worlds are so different, and yeah, my brain just can't take it. So I took a step back for now.
Yeah. That is so fair. I can completely hard relate. I mean, I'm not a nurse. I can't imagine the emotional and physical strain that must take on your body and your mind. But I am working I have a full-time job. I have 2 small children, they're 4 and 6 as well, and obviously content and podcasts on the side. So I totally get juggling the hats. It's absolutely wild. But outside of being an author, we also love to know about authors as readers. So can you tell us, are you currently reading anything? What are you reading? What are you loving?
Yes, I don't get to read as much anymore because when I'm actively writing, I cannot read anything because it messes me up. But now that I'm just editing, I am reading 3 books. Yeah, I'm reading 3 books right now. I have the physical copy of The Will of the Many. That's just I carry around in my purse and it's getting so banged up. But I have my physical copy of that I'll take with me to practices and therapies and just whatever and just sit and read. And then I have my audiobook. I'm reading This Kingdom Will Not Kill Me.
I've
Um,
heard such good things about that book.
yes. So I'm doing the audio of that one. And I'll just do that when I go to the gym or if I'm doing laundry. And then I have the Kindle of the Jasad Air because I've heard so much good stuff about it and I'm very, very intrigued. So I'll hop on that if I don't have the physical book or my headphones. So yeah, I'm reading three.
We're
Oh,
exactly the same, both of us juggle multiple different formats of books at all times.
Yes.
Just
hot
the
girls read multiple formats at a time.
It would probably be more efficient if I just picked one book and just read it across all the platforms and I would be done a lot quicker, but there's no fun in that. So
Do you know what though I love? I feel like I always somehow end up at this point where I'm finishing all books like nearly at once, and I love the satisfaction of like on Goodreads and Fable, like ticking off like three books read at once.
yes.
But
Yes,
also,
it feels good.
some don't quite translate across different formats. Like sometimes a book I feel like isn't great on audio, but then you start reading it and it's
Hmm.
much better, or vice versa. So I'm a big fan of the different books for different formats. I actually do
Right.
entirely different genres on audio as well. Like I usually do like a thriller or a literary fiction on audio, which I don't read at all in Kindle or
Hmm.
Kindle because I just feel like there's something really addictive about them in an audio format. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense, but I'll
It
try.
really is. I know, I get it. It really is different. Like The Will of the Many is such a dense book. There's no way I could listen to it. I have to sit down and read every line because if I listen to it, I'm just gonna get distracted and I'm gonna miss a whole bunch. So, yeah, my denser books I have to sit down and read. But I really like what I'm listening to now, so it's really good.
Love that. So back to you as an author. Can you take us back to the very beginning? Do you remember the first thing that you wrote? Have you always been in romance
Yes.
and fantasy, or have you tried other genres? Like, take us back to the very beginning of your journey.
So I've always imagined like little fan fictions when I was growing up, just of my favorite books. So that's probably where I like the seed was planted because it was always like romance based. It was always like with a character that I fell in love with. And that's probably where the seed was planted. But when I started working and I got out of college and I could actually start reading again, my sister got me into ACOTAR and Throne of Glass, and that's when I like officially like fell so hard in love with fantasy romance. Because I was reading just fantasy books and I was just like, what is my problem? I used to be able to read fantasy books and I would just like just eat them up and I could turn out a book a day. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. My sister was like, you need to try this romance. I was like, oh, that's what I'm missing. And so as soon as I started reading fantasy romance, it was like I was back in it. And so when COVID hit and I had a baby at the same time, I was really stuck at home and I couldn't go anywhere and I couldn't do anything. And I felt absolutely useless because I had to quit my job because my baby had a lot of like special needs at that time. And so I was like, I'm not doing anything. And I'm a person that likes to feel very productive. I like to do something with my time. So I was like, let me just try writing a book. It's 2 in the morning. I'm sitting here doing nothing. I'm just waiting for him to wake up again. So I'm like, you might as well, like, let's just try. And so I tried and I actually wrote a beginning, middle, and an end. It wasn't very good. But I rewrote it a few times and I tried to pitch it to agents. They praised me for my effort in my and they said there's a lot of talent here, but this is not the right book. And so I I kind of I don't know. I think they filled my head up and I was like, "Oh, okay, they're saying I'm good at this. Let me just keep trying." And so I did, and I wrote another book, and that got picked up by a small press, which gave me a little more confidence that maybe this is the right direction to go in. And I just kind of kept building on it and kept learning more lessons about the industry and how to write every single book that I wrote. And yeah, I feel like that's kind of how I got here today is just little things like that, just gradual book by book, getting progressively more experienced.
Yeah. And also, just before we quickly move on to talk more about your books, I just wanted to say that I noticed something in your bio on your website that I want to ask you about. It mentions the Finer Things Club, and we want to know more about what this is because is this something we need to be doing?
So we're big fans of The Office around here, and the Finer Things Club in The Office, they have like there is their book club, and they discuss like the book club and just fancy things, and they call it the Finer Things Club. And so me, my sister, and my sister-in-law, and another friend, we get together. We try to get together once a month. It usually happens once every few months. And we have our Finer Things Club, and we each bring a bottle of wine, and we just do wine tasting, and we discuss books and life and all those things. So that's like my the one thing that I can like really look forward to every few months. It's like my little break from reality. But yeah, it's my
Yeah,
Finer Things Club.
I feel
Sounds
like
like
for
absolute perfection.
I was literally just about to say, Tor, that is right up your alley.
Yeah, literally. I have a very similar group. It's like two of my sisters and a few of my best friends, but we're called the Mooies, so it's Mooie night.
That's cute though.
Okay, so moving on to your books now. For anyone listening that maybe hasn't read House of Bane and Blood yet, obviously we're sending them all your way because it's an amazing book. But for anyone that hasn't read it, can you tell us a little bit about that series, the vibe that you were going for?
Yes, so I wrote House of Bane when I had my second child, and a lot of my books pop out when I have kids because I'm not doing anything except consuming media. But I was sitting down with my second born, and I started watching Peaky Blinders, and I had already written the beginning of a book, and it was actually that book is actually the book coming out next. So I was writing the beginning of that, and then I was watching Peaky Blinders, and I just loved the vibes of it. And I was like, this is a vibe. Like this is my aesthetic. Like this is what I've always wanted to achieve. And then like when he's coming out and like the smoke and everything, I was like, that's what I want. Like that's my vision. It's like it came to life in front of me. And then there was a arranged marriage on the show. And I said, that's what I want to do. I want to do an arranged marriage. I haven't written that yet. I did enemies to lovers, and like that's what I'm gonna do. I want to do an arranged marriage. And so I don't know what happened after that. It's kind of a fever dream, but everything started to kind of fall into place with House of Bane. And yeah, I had this idea of just these two warring families, kind of like Romeo and Juliet, just not as tragic, of course. Um, and like the Peaky Blinders vibe because I already had the world planned out. And I was like, this, it was already a steampunk, like London fantasy world. And so the Peaky, like watching Peaky just really helped, like just finish my inspiration, I guess. So yeah, that's how House of Bane was born.
Oh, love it.
I feel like maybe that explains so much of why I personally love it as a Londoner, originally from
Mhm.
Midlands, where the Peaky Blinders was set. It's just
Mhm.
made for me. But
Yeah.
obviously the characters as well, Mila and Nico are people are obsessed with them. The banter, the tension, the slow burn between their relationship. Where did that dynamic come from, and what inspired that specific kind of romantic dynamic?
So when I was writing Camilla, and you know, it took me a long time to get her name right because I could not find a name that encapsulated who she was. And then when I found Camilla, I was like, yes, I just wanted her to be this steam train heiress who knew what she wanted, who was very confident, like knew she was beautiful, used her beauty as a weapon. And I needed Nico to be a man that could compete with her, that could meet her where she was at. So Camilla came first and then Nico came because I make my FMCs and then I built my MMCs around them to complement them. So when I knew everything I knew about Camilla, Nico was very easy to create because I wanted someone like Tommy Shelby, but not as cold as Tommy Shelby and ruthless. Like he's ruthless, but I needed someone a little softer for Camilla. So he was definitely inspired by Tommy Shelby's character, but not. so much that he doesn't stand on his own. Um, so yeah, Camilla, she was she was very easy to create because it was someone that I could also see myself in, but also someone I wanted to be. Like I wanted to be that very confident, like high class girl. Um, but sh deep down, like she struggled with the same thing that I was currently struggling with, which was like just giving herself away for her family and just always giving her all for her family and just never having anything left over at the end of the day for herself or being able to choose for herself. And as a mom of young kids, it was like I was constantly giving to my kids and like my whole life, every choice I made revolved around my family dynamic. And it was at that point it was just like I had forgotten my identity as a person. I was just like, what am I here for? Like, who am I? And so Camilla struggled with the same thing. And so when I was creating Nico, every exchange with them, it was really him pulling out who she was. And that's really how those two like kind of came to be.
I love that. And I feel like I can confirm that that definitely came through in the books. Like, I personally really felt for Camilla in that instance. Like, I'm the oldest daughter of a big brood of siblings
Mhm.
and obviously a mum myself. And I definitely like felt that kind of like not torture, but do you know what I mean? I kind of felt that
Yeah.
pull towards Camilla because of that. So that definitely came through in your writing 100%. With Nico, he is obviously like what booktok love right now in an MMC. What is it about that type of character that you think the bookish community just finds so irresistible?
I think because he's very charming and he's witty and he's smart and he's ruthless. He'll do anything. I think women just want a man that will just burn the world down for them. And he's just definitely that kind of guy that would do that. Um, like he doesn't matter who's going to get burned on his way, but he's going to get his girl. And I think that's just very attractive to many women, but he's also very soft at the same time. So he's very strong, but he's also very sensitive. So, and I think that's what made him so likable, along with the metal hand and all that stuff. It's also a plus.
Tommy Shelby vibes, of course.
Yes.
But no, I like with Tor with relating to Camilla, what I liked about Nico was the wit. I felt like that really came through and then that banter that you get between them as well. So I definitely can concur that that's why we love him. So in terms of the ending of the book, I'm going to try and keep it spoiler free, but it obviously has a cliffhanger. Was the twist and the cliffhanger planned from the beginning, or was that something just naturally unfolded in the story?
It was planned. I like to do my beginning, middle, and ends. I like to kind of vaguely outline them. Like, this is where I want to be in the middle. This is where I want to be towards the end. Because in my head, I'm starting book two as I'm writing book one. Like, what are we going? Like, what's the point of this whole story? And I had a notebook full of where I wanted to go in different alternate endings and all that stuff. And that's somewhere in here that I should probably burn now. But yeah, I definitely plan my endings at the beginning.
I love that. Um, when it comes to your readership, you obviously built a lot of your fan base really before you even got your publishing deal. What was that like trying to build that without that support, like the trials and the tribulations? Like, what did you love and what was really tough about that kind of like cycle of being an author?
It was hard. And I think if I knew now what I knew way back when I first started, I probably wouldn't have even tried just because it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Um, and I have thick skin. Like as a nurse, I have very thick skin. There's nothing anyone can say to me that's gonna hurt my feelings. But at the same time, constant rejection is it wears on you a
Hmm.
lot. And when you put a book out there, and I know a lot of authors that struggle with this, but when you're like trying to market yourself and you get like 5 likes and you're like, oh, I'm such a loser. Like you can't help but just it just makes you feel just absolutely worthless. And I was very fortunate, I think, to have a small readership when I was first starting and not so much have my first book blow up. I think that was honestly probably better for me in the long run, just because I had so much learning to do. I had so much media training to do, all that. So when my first book came out, indie wise, like that was my first like kind of book that got attention was The Last Daughter. And when I put that book out and I started getting a little bit of trickle in readers and I started getting like the experience of like having readers. Like I was like, I never felt like this way before, but people were like subscribing to my newsletter. I was like, I don't even have a newsletter yet, but you're still subscribing. Cool. Um, so like that was a very cool feeling. And like just that those little bits, those little breadcrumbs that I would get, it just kind of kept me alive. And so I just kind of kept going a little bit more and a little bit more. Um, it's definitely tough though. The Last Daughter got a lot of I thought it was going to be like that's my book. No, it was not. I had a lot of rejections. No book box wanted it. No, like it was just really, really hard. And just seeing my friends kind of move on and blow up was very challenging. And so when I wrote House of Bane, I was like, all right, this is it. This is it. If this doesn't work out, I need to hang it up because I got other things to do.
Hmm.
And
So would you say then that like the social media side of things was what you found hardest about originally like publishing
yes,
a work?
definitely. Definitely. Because like everything with publishing to me is very just businessy. So like write the book, edit the book, put out the book, whatever. Marketing is more of like the face-to-face stuff. And that's that I think that can be the most for me that was the hardest just because it was like you're putting yourself out there and then getting no reaction or no sales. It's so tedious and it's exhausting because I was like trying to post every single day and like y'all know how content creation is. It's just so exhausting and it takes so much out of you. So that was
Some
just hard.
days
And
it's
then
absolutely soul destroying.
yeah, and I'm like I don't want to do it, but I had to just to earn my like little pennies a day. So obviously it's a lot better now, but it was it was hard. It was a slow build. Whereas other people like they make one video and they like go viral. Like I could
It's
not
just
go
luck of the
viral to save
draw
my
though, isn't
life.
it?
Yeah. Yes. So
Preaching to the choir, honey, because we've been on book talk a long time and we have still small to mid-sized audiences. So
yeah.
no, we get it. But also, jokes on the people that rejected Last Daughter because it has some great chronic illness representation that is very, very important to a lot of readers, including myself. So that would have been really great in a book box because a lot of people would have been able to see themselves in it. But c'est la vie.
You win
So
some, you lose some.
exactly. Over recent years, some of those earlier books, like The Last Daughter, they were taken off kind of Amazon or weren't available to readers for a little bit as well. And we know that there was a little bit of controversy around City Owl Press in the general bookish space. Are you
Mhm.
able to tell us more about your experience with that or what happened?
I really just cut my ties with them pretty early on. As soon as House of Bane came out and that was blowing up, I really just wanted to get control of my books again. Um, so the books that I had out with City Owl, I really didn't want them on the shelves anymore. I felt like I had grown so much as a writer that it wasn't even reflective of what I wrote now. And I didn't want people going through my backlist and reading those things and thinking that that's how I wrote now. Because I look back and there's so much I would have changed and so much I would have done differently that I honestly wish that was just never out in the first place. So when I contacted City Owl about this, I was like, look, no one's buying this. you're not getting any money from this. Like it's the sales are abysmal. So I just want my rights back. And p other authors were getting their rights back because City Owl refused to, promote anything or do anything for advertising. And I will say I did not have as much problems. I didn't have to go through all the sketchy things that were going on over there. I just wanted to get my books out and just be done because there was other things going on. And it's not my story, so I won't speak on it. But yeah, I just wanted to separate myself from all of that going on.
Yeah, completely makes sense and maybe helpful for aspiring writers listening to kind
Yes.
of know a little bit
Don't.
about the process and some of the trials and tribulations with publishing. But so let's kind of maybe we can give listeners at home who are new to your work an overview of the books you have out, where or which ones are out, the titles, and where listeners can find them, if that's okay.
hmm So my earliest works, like A Night of Wings and Starlight, those are on audio, I believe, because that was a separate contract. So those are on audio. You can take a listen if you want. Knock yourself out. And The Last Daughter and The Silent Son are still on Amazon. They're exclusively on Amazon because those were indie published and they're with KU, so I can't publish them anywhere else. So those are on Amazon, and then House of Bane and City of Mirth are also, of course, available everywhere. And the next book is also out now and available everywhere.
So
So when, oh, she's getting the books.
I was going to get them.
Showing.
So this is the cover. You can't see it very well. Oh, there we go. The Anatomy of Magic. So that's the one that's just come out.
Yes.
So when Second Sky acquired your books, and they acquired the House of Bane and Blood duology, right? And then a
Mhm.
second duology, which is what we're getting the first book of now, I believe. Is that right?
Yes.
What was that moment like for you, like finding out that you were getting that deal after kind of going it on your own for so long?
It was a huge relief. Just because indie publishing is just very, very hard. And once you reach kind of a stage where you have a larger following and more sales and more people emailing you, it gets very overwhelming. I was really blessed to have my agent and my agency, and they helped me a lot as I got bigger. But having someone take on these books and just get them into stores, and I didn't have to do any of that, it was so refreshing. And just, all I have to do now is just write the books. And that is super nice for me because before it was like I was writing the books. As I was writing the books, I was scheduling the editors because you have to schedule the editors 8 months in advance before your book's even written. And then you got to get the cover designer booked and you got to get the proofreader booked. And it's so much. And right now, I just want to write the book, and
Mm-hmm.
that's really helpful. And then when it comes to events too, it's like you got to order stock. You want to go to book signings, you got to order stock, and it's a lot. And my brain is just not businessy or financially inclined. And so it's very nice just to have a publicist and a publisher just say, we've got it, just show up. You're welcome. Like that's done.
Amazing.
So it was a great feeling, and it was kind of like I'm making it, and I'm finally doing it. Like I have a publisher now, which was a really, really good feeling.
And you mentioned a little bit there about booking the cover artist, like when you're self-publishing. And we can imagine that kind of seeing a new cover on a book you had already had a cover on is like very weird, but also very exciting. How
Mhm.
involved are you in the process of like being able to kind of pick or have your say on a cover when it comes to traditionally publishing? And how excited were you for something new?
So I love the new covers. I I'm a black girly. Like I like black books. I like black clothes. I don't do a lot of color. So it was I was like thankful to have a publisher that took a little more risk than me and put some color on them. So I'm pleased how they came out. I'm glad they didn't change them completely. So I was very grateful for that. And they just kind of added the texture and stuff on it, which came out really good. So I was really grateful they didn't completely change them like they do sometimes. Um, as far as my control, for it just kind of depends on publishers, which is odd. I technically have two, so I have a US and a UK. Um, my UK publisher, I don't have a whole lot of control. For anatomy, they really just showed it to me, and I was like, "Oh, thank God, it came out good," because it just dropped in my email. Um, and they're like, "Here's the cover," and I was like, okay, thank God, it looks good. Okay, that's fine. And I think that's how it is typically. They usually just say, hey, what are your preferences? Like, what are you kind of hoping to see on it? And I'll tell them. And then it just shows up in my email. With actually the book coming out in November, Vices and Virtues, they actually gave me a little bit more autonomy, I guess. They asked me to send in like what my inspiration picks for the cover, and I did. And I was like, look, when I was writing the book, these were the pictures I pinned, and it came out exactly like exactly what I showed them. And I was very, very pleased about that because it was like that's exactly how I would have done it if I would have published it myself. So, whew, just like relief.
I say we haven't seen the cover for that one yet, have we?
For Vices, it's up now, but we're just not like promoting. We're really focusing on anatomy right now, and then it'll switch later. So, but it
Okay.
is out there.
Just reminding myself to go and have a look after this. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, me too. So, moving on to the new book, Anatomy of Magic. If our info is correct, which I believe it is, this book is set in like the same world of House of Bane and Blood. Is that right?
It's not the same world, but
Okay.
it's a similar. It's still steampunk and it's still gritty and dark like House of Bane, but it's a different magic system, different lore, different worlds. So
Okay. Because when I
yes.
was reading the blurb and started reading the book, I was like, actually, this sounds like it kind of gives that House of Bane and Blood
Mhm.
like steampunk vibe. Absolutely.
Yes, I didn't want to go too far out of the type world, I guess, because the story still required a very dark, gritty, and industrial vibe, but it is different than House of Bane. Um, it's a little bit more modern than House of Bane. There's like more cars, it's a little bit more modern, but
Yeah, a
it's
little bit
similar.
more urban,
Yeah.
whereas
Yeah.
House of Bane has that sort of traditional industrial kind of element.
Mhm.
Okay, so in the book, Nina has illegal magical abilities that she can't explain, and Max is the most powerful crime boss in the city, and she steals from him. That's obviously quite a full-on chaotic starting point. What drew you to that particular starting point and setup for the story?
So let me think. I'm not it a lot of this too is it's like as I'm writing, like the layers will kind of come with drafts. So when I first wrote the beginning, my editor wanted the pair to meet a little earlier. And so I was like, okay, so let me change things up. And so I have him actually stumbling into the surgery, like completely bloody and stabbed and stuff for her to take care of. And I liked that dynamic better because then she knew what he was after, and she knew that he was after those that particular item that she took off the recent guy that died, and he had just got done fighting the guy that died. And so she had the choice. She could either give it to him or she could do something a little more sneaky and sell it to him, by way of her, her like third party, I guess. So she tells him, hey, if you're looking for something, go to this person. She probably has it. And so that was her way of giving it back to him, but also getting her portion of the prize. So a little sneaky.
The book is currently being compared to books like Quicksilver, SJM, work from Rachel Gillig, which is, the books that BookTok are saying, hold everything, put it down, and read this right now.
Mhm.
Who were you writing this for when you wrote the book?
When I wrote this book, I really wrote it for me and anyone that's kind of like me. I didn't really write it for like the epic fantasy reader. I really love shows like Arcane. I really love the themes and the moral questions that arise from Frankenstein. And when I was writing this book, those things kind of fell into it together. And I didn't really get inspiration from another book per se or another author. It was really just those medias that I've been just consuming. And I was really heavy into Arcane, Frankenstein, and Sleep Token when I was writing these
One of my
books. And
favorite
so
things.
like it all just kind of came into its own aesthetic, I guess. So, and when my editor was asking, he's like, "Hey, what kind of comps do you want to use?" I was like, "I really don't know," because there's not a lot of books that do steampunk anymore. Um, so it's very hard to find comps. And I try to do like comps like more of more of like vibes, more of feelings, like the
Mhm.
feeling of when you read these books. Definitely Rachel Gillig with, One Dark Window, that dark atmospheric read. Um, so yeah.
I wish authors could just put, or were allowed to put on the book, good for fans of Sleep Token, because honestly, nothing, nothing would make me pick up a book faster. Although obviously that doesn't apply to your books because I do that anyway. But honestly, there are so many authors that talk about how much they love Sleep Token or they were listening to Sleep Token when they were writing. And I'm like, can you say that on the book?
It is
Yes, it's
funny. I
just
feel like listening to Alexis talk, I'm like, if you two like live near each other, you're like two peas in a pod, like you would be the best of friends.
You're just
yes.
mentioning all of my favorite things. And then also before this interview, and obviously we were planning the interview, I was saying to Tor that one of the best things about your book is the unique worlds and the magic systems. And now that I'm thinking of it, the kind of Norse, like elven mythology of the Last Daughter really reminds me of some of the metaphors and the lyrics in Sleep Token songs, which obviously
Mhm.
is not related because Sleep Token, well, they were out then, but not anywhere near as
There,
big.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's just funny as well to see how people's inspiration kind and interests merge.
hmm
But that's a whole different topic for another day. We've also seen, and you obviously mentioned it earlier actually as well, that you have another release coming out later this year. Is there anything you can tell us about that book and when we'll be able to get our hands on that one?
Yes, so that comes out late November, I believe November 30th, something like that. Um, that book is my love child. I love that book so much. Every time I read it, I cry. There's honestly, I wrote it right after I wrote City of Mirth, and I submitted it to my editor. So that book has been out, that was written in 2024. Yeah, it was written in 2024. Went on 7/25, comes out in 26. So um, that that book took all my heart and soul, and I love it so much, and I cannot wait to share that as well. It is very complicated, and it would probably take me a long time to kind of explain everything, but it is a standalone. I can say that. It's a standalone. It is a fantasy romance, and it's dual timeline and dual POV. So, yeah, a little different.
I'm excited for that one. I saw it's called Vices and Virtues, is that correct?
Yes, yes. I kind of based the magic system off of Aristotle's ethics on vices and virtues and about corruption of the soul and things like that. So.
I'm excited for that. I think that's right up my alley again.
I love dual timeline and I love dual POV, so we're very excited for this. So, away from the kind of more serious questions, we love to kind of like finish up our episodes with something a little bit more fun. So, we're just gonna quick fire some fun questions at you.
Okay, go for
And I
it.
feel like you kind of answered this one earlier, to be honest with you. But pantser or plotter, and has your answer changed over the course of the last few years?
I used to be a pantser. Now I am a die-hard plotter. I don't think I could go in and pants a book ever again after I've learned to plot. But I do like to write. Sometimes I like to write the opening scene and then plot based on the opening scene. It's kind of like those games as a kid where you had like the first sentence and you had to make a story out of the sentence.
Yeah,
Like
used to love them.
that's kind of like what I like to do. Like to like write the opening scene and then finish the rest of the story.
That's a good idea. I'm going to try that myself and see how I get
It's
on.
fun. It's
I'm
fun.
not I am not a pantser at all.
No.
Which of your own characters would you most want to be stuck with in a crisis, and who would you absolutely not want to be stuck with?
I would want to be stuck with Camilla, because she would probably have her head on straight, and be able to think through it. I would not want to be stuck with, oh gosh, that's hard. Probably my main character, Nina, right now, because she's just like me, and she's very anxious, and we would just feed on each other's anxiety. Like, just nothing would happen. Like, we would not get ourselves out of it. So.
Yeah,
I would be stuck.
nowhere, get nowhere at all.
What is a book that you've read recently that you feel is criminally underrated?
So I haven't read a ton of books, but my last book that I was shocked did not, I don't want to say like blow up because it still did very well, was Wind Weaver. I really loved Wind Weaver, and I didn't see very much of it on Book Talk, if anything. Um, so yeah, I really loved Wind Weaver. I think everyone should try to give
I
it a
have
try.
that on my shelf actually, so maybe
I
I'm going to
think
bump
it
that up my TBR.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think
have
it was a
that.
fairy loot. I think it's a
Yes.
fairy loot choice. Yeah, so I got in my fairy loot and it was so pretty that I just sat down and just read it. And honestly, like that was the first book that I sat down and was like, my kids were like talking to me and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like I wasn't even listening to them. Like it actually consumed me, which I haven't had that in a long time. So it was really nice.
Yeah, I also have that on my Kindle, so we'll bump that up the TBR maybe, Hazel. If House of Bane and Blood was adapted, and we would love it to be adapted, who would you cast as Nico?
Oh gosh. People ask this question, and I honestly never, I'm not good with actors.
Mm. I also feel like Nico is quite unique, so it's hard to picture someone as him that
Yeah, because I don't like picking like famous actors because there's just nobody that I can really think of. Like, ugh,
that's fair. We'll leave
We
that there.
won't pressure
that's hard.
you, and we just
I'm
hope that
not.
one day it gets picked up and someone and the
Yes,
casting
that'll
team
be
pick
someone
someone
else's
fantastic.
choice. I hope it's someone unknown though. So yeah, there was actually, I was watching one of those weird dramas on TikTok. I don't know if you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. There was one, and I was like, that guy would be a great Nico, but I don't know his name. And it was so funny. He was cutie. He's a cutie, but I was like, he's a great Nico. I'll give
Well,
him a
I'll keep an
job.
eye out. We'll keep an eye on. Yeah.
If you see it again, screenshot and send it
I
to
will.
us.
Those people, like those actors are beautiful people on those dramas. I was like, I don't know why they're not bigger because they are beautiful people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What would your This is an imaginary world where if you plan this, your children wouldn't get sick or something go wrong. But what would your absolute perfect reading night look like?
My perfect reading night. Okay. So if I was just like alone, I've always like dreamed about just going to be alone on the beach, like with my own little house on a balcony and a bottle of crisp white wine and a bunch of little snacks. And yeah, nobody talking to me at all. Just the whole night.
The
That
dream
would
of
be
every reader.
perfect. Yeah. I would never pick up my phone.
Oh, really bad for picking up my phone. I need to get one of those brick things. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but they like lock your phone so you don't go on it.
Yeah.
That's why I don't get any reading done anymore. I'm just on my phone. So bad.
It's I've had a big problem with that too. Even writing, like I'll get to a problem and I'm like, nah, let me just doom scroll for a minute, but instead of facing my problem. Yeah, it's bad.
I'm glad it's not just me. But final kind of question in this section, what are three of your God tier fantasy or romantasy book recommendations?
Outlander is my god tier. I love Outlander. Love it. Love it. Love it. Um, as far I love Divine Rivals. I remember reading Divine Rivals for the first time. I was so emotional. But also Rebecca Ross's earlier series, The River Enchanted.
I
Love
love
it.
that story.
Love it. Love it. I feel like that's also underrated. I feel
Yeah.
like everyone talks about Divine Rivals, but no one talks about River Enchanted. Oh my gosh. Um, what else is God tier? I mean, I feel like everybody's a Zakatar. It's God tier, Throne of Glass for me. And I would also throw in The Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini, just because that's probably what got me into fantasy as a child, and I still think about that series today.
Is that the series where book one is Aragon?
Yes.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
I've never read them, but I think I saw the movie adaptation when I was a kid.
It
But
was awful. It was awful, but I still like love it at the same
yeah,
time.
I'm
on
sure that that was supposed to be getting adapted into a
Yes.
TV series
on Disney.
by
I think
Disney, but
Disney.
I haven't heard anything about it in a long time.
I know, and it's been years, so I don't know. Don't know what's happening. I think they will make it. It needs to be remade, but it has to be perfect this time. They can't fumble it twice. So,
Yeah.
Fingers
Well,
crossed.
yes.
Um, and before we let you go, is there anything else that you are writing or planning to write at the minute that you can tell us about?
I have so much I want to write, and I told myself I was going to take a huge break after I was done editing the sequel to Anatomy, because I wrote the sequel to Anatomy that's done, and I'm just doing structure edits right now on it. But there's just this book that I want to write so bad, and it like hit me like a ton of bricks as I was writing the sequel to Anatomy. So, and like I remember I was like, I got on my phone immediately and I just typed out like the premise real fast so I didn't forget it. Um, but I think about it all the time and I really, really want to write it. So I think I'm going to do that in June. I think I'm going to plot it out, but it's like I want it to be a romantasy rom-com. Kind of like
Ooh.
um the dark was it called, The Dark Lord's Guide to Dating or something,
yeah.
something funny, something lighthearted and fun, because I've written a lot of serious books and I
Mhm.
wanted to do something really fun this time. So I want to write that. And what else? And then I really want to write a trilogy. I've written a lot of duets and I really want to write a trilogy. And I want to write a trilogy in the world of vices. So we will see. I don't know if I can do it, but I'm going to try. But I want to write the rom-com first. So
We have full faith in you.
We were just saying last week as well that there's not many romantasy books that have humor in them, but
Mm.
when we do find them, we tend to really like them. Like Zodiac Academy as well is quite dark. It also has
Mhm.
humorous elements. So we'll keep an eye out for that in the future.
Yes. Yes.
So, Anatomy of Magic is out now. My assistant will we'll have all the links to Alexis's socials and books in the links to the episode. Alexis, is there anything you want to add before we finish up today about the books?
Nothing. I feel like we really covered a lot in our time together, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me. It is just the biggest honor to be here with you guys, especially after you've been so like such champions for my books over the years, not just like in the past, but years. So this is just a really great feeling. When my publisher messaged me about the podcast, I was like, absolutely. Like, I canceled my hair appointment today. I was like, I'm absolutely going to do this because I have to do this for them because they've been so great to me over the years. So, thank you so much for having me. And I really, really appreciate being here.
You're very welcome. We're so excited to have you here, and thank you for canceling your hair appointment. We feel very
Memories
privileged.
are bad.
We feel very privileged about that. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And listeners at home, make sure you join us in another 2 weeks for another episode. But until then, bye.
Bye.